just the right time, Lisa. Because I'm going to start over. Turns out my stream was on mute, and my friend Dreadmancer helped me get it back again. So we're back, and I'm going to do the thing again, which is make myself a cute little booty skirt out of saran wrap myself in duct tape, and make myself a pattern. So let's get that going again. And wrap myself in some duct tape, or in some saran wrap. Here we go. Back to the saran wrap. Oh, that's a good noise, isn't it? So what I'm doing right now is I'm making a pattern to make a belt. And looking at what I started originally, I think I actually want to make it a little bit bigger than what I originally made. So this is perfect, having to restart. Sometimes it lets you fix mistakes you didn't realize that you had made. One more round, and then I'll show off my saran wrap mini skirt. Get this all cut out. Now I have a nice little saran wrap booty skirt. Look at it go. And now we duct tape. So what I want to do, I put on this skirt earlier to figure out where I wanted it to sit, and I found that I wanted it to sit just underneath the top of my hip bone, so I can feel my hip bones right here, and the skirt is going to sit just a little bit below them. So that probably means I'll want my belt up by my hip bones a little bit, which feels a little tall, but it also feels pretty secure. So I think that is where I'm going to go with it. Also, this saran wrap booty skirt likes to ride up, so I keep having to push it down. Get the duct tape going again, and we'll start with where I want, just above where I want the belt to sit. Right up here. On both sides. Gives me a good marker. And start filling in the rest. I don't have a mirror in here, so kind of have to use the reverse cam on the computer in front of me, and then everything is like backwards. So if I want to be over here, I have to kind of do everything backwards, which is a unique skill. I actually wanted that a little higher. Top of the saran wrap. That's what I want to duct tape my dress. I don't think it would be the end of the world to duct tape this dress. It's pretty sturdy. But it would be a little annoying. So the nice thing about this technique is it allows you to get your exact measurements. And not even just your exact measurements, the exact shape of your body. So when you flatten it out, the pattern is your curves, your shape. It's you. Exactly. I use this method to make my Princess Leia belt. And it fits pretty perfectly. Oh, come back. The duct tape likes to stick to the saran wrap. So yeah, the saran wrap is to protect your skin and your clothing and give something for the duct tape to stick to get the shape. One more on this row. Where is it? Oh, oh. Almost. Think I got it? Yeah, I got it. We're getting a little booty skirt out of duct tape now too. I've also used this technique for making something in the shape of my leg. I've seen it used for making like an armband. I don't think anybody uses it on their head though. I know I probably wouldn't want to do that. There's better things to do for that. One cosplayer has shown that there's like an app on your phone that can take like pictures of your head and make a 3D model of it. I want to say Kamui Cosplay has a YouTube video on that. So if you ever needed your exact head shape, there are ways to do it. And I think the cosplaying duo ended up like printing out an exact replica of Svetlana's head, which was super cool. And she uses that, so she does this method on that to make helmets now. Or she puts it into, or rather Benny, her husband, puts it into a 3D printing program to 3D print out parts. Is there an open spot there? There is an open spot. My lights are shining off of this. I might be able to start drawing after this. Oh, where's that open spot? I found it before. It's right here, right? Yes. I can feel it. Oh, oh. There we go. Got it. Whew. And then are we even? I think we're even enough for what we want to do. Push this down a little bit. Not gonna lie, I almost like this length for the belt, but I think it might be a little too thick because we're going to use, where did those beads go? We're going to use these beads as embellishments. So I don't want the belt to be too thick. Here's the bead. This will go as embellishment on the belt. That and probably either actual Pokemon card fire energy cutouts, or I have an SVG file and I can cut out the fire energy symbol myself and not destroy Pokemon cards. So it'll depend on what I want to do. So I wanted the belt to sit maybe not quite this high, because the skirt is going to be here. So I'm just going to draw on, maybe just underneath. Make sure that's even on both sides. Looks pretty even, and I can even it out afterwards too. I can show you my example. What you do is you find the side you like better, and then you just fold it in half with the side you like better on top, and cut away the excess from the side you don't like as much. So the other thing I wanted to do is I want to make this open at the side so that it's a little bit easier to adjust. So I'm going to find the back of my hip bone here. I think I'm going to go straight down here. And this is where I'm going to open it up. Just behind. Just behind my hip bone. I think that looks about the same. I think I tilted that one a little bit too much. Just cross that out so I know not to use that one. There, that looks better. And then I want to mark the top of the back of the belt. So the skirt is going to sit about here. So I want the top of it to be a little bit higher. It's going to be a little bit difficult to do blind. Am I going to get Sharpie on myself today? Maybe. Maybe I'll lead myself with this. I want top of the back of the belt to be about there. I think that's a mark that I can do something with. It looks like it. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Oh, I have a blank spot. Let's fill that in. How big is that? I have a couple blank spots. This is a much easier technique to do with a friend. But alas, I am on my own today. And I match it up. It's reverse. What you're seeing is not the same thing as what I'm seeing. Did I get it? Yeah, I got it. Hey, look at that. Skills. Oh, and there's a blank spot there too. I did my best. Oh goodness. There's all sorts of blank spots back here. There we go. That side looks better. How about this side? Just a little bit of one. Duct tape. Not too bad for not being able to see what I'm doing in the back there. Okay, so that feels like the middle of my back, or middle of... Seems a little bit low compared to this. But this is going to come down a little bit, I think. Maybe I did draw this a little too high. Or maybe I just need to draw this a little bit higher. Let's try it. Nope, definitely not trusting that. There we go. Using the tip of the Sharpie to lead myself. There we go, that's a little bit higher. I think that is probably a better spot for the belt to be. And then the front. The front of the belt, I'm just kind of drawing this in. That looks pretty good. Yeah. This still feels a little high. Wonder if I should just lower it even just that much. That looks a little better. Maybe Just want to raise that a little bit. Just kind of sketching it on, seeing what I like best. A little lower, yeah. Maybe this just a little higher. Doing our best guesstimate. That looks good. My belly button is about here. So I think that's a pretty good spot for a belt to sit. So now I have to cut myself out of this. So typically I wouldn't wear a nice dress like this when I do this. However, I have enough wiggle room in here that I can get my scissors through without slicing my dress. So we're going to do that. So I'm just going to cut down one of the openings that I created. And I'm out of it. Here it is. We have the beginnings of a pattern. But you can see, like, this is like the shape of my butt right here. So when I lay this flat, I'm going to have a pattern that perfectly represents my body, which is really, really nice. We're going to move these out of the way. Ooh, that got a little warm. Saran wrap does not breathe. And it's super warm today because we had some giant storms blow through. Yeah, isn't that fun? I can show under the top view camera too, but I have the exact shape of my body, which is why I really like doing this. I've also used this technique on my legs, and I've seen people do it on their arms. So it's really quite handy. Whatever you need the perfect shape of your body for, this technique will give it to you. Put my table back together. Move this over. And I'll start doing some of the cleaning up process because this does need to be cleaned up a little bit so that it looks a little bit nicer. Move my things out of the way. Grab my mouse. Grab the second camera. And go to the other view. And I wanted this a little bit closer to me because I find I keep working towards the edge of the table. So here's what we got for the sketch that we just did, or I just did on my body here. So I have my two edges, the top edge, and I think I like this side better. So, but I also wanted to sketch this out, and this will be easier to sketch probably once I've cut this out. So I'm going to cut here along the line. So you can see this is where it was angled, and I put a little X over it, which was good because I forgot that it was angled. And I'm just going to cut this right up the edge. Put the butt piece in the middle there, and then I do think I like the lower side better, so I'm going to cut out what we have sketched and then fold it in half and cut off the excess on the other side. Cut along the top. And then I'm going to fold this in half. Match up the bottom edges because this is pretty much the same. Yeah. So you can see there's a little bit here that is excess, and I'm going to do what's kind of called truing the pattern and make it the same on both sides so that it meets up where it's supposed to, and just cut off these extra edges. Looks like there's just a little bit there too. There. this scrap off to the side. And now we have the top outline. And originally, when I did this the first time, I made it 3 inches, and I don't think 3 inches is quite large enough for what I want. Let me find those beads again and just set them on the old pattern. And this is the front half of the old pattern, because, I mean, I do like the size of these on this pattern. I can cut this to 3.5 inches, and if I want it smaller, I can always make it smaller. So that's what we'll do. Set these off to the side. Aren't these pretty? Oops. Really like how these shine. It's like fire trapped in a bead. So this was the old pattern. This is the new pattern. So now I'm just going to go from the top of this and mark out 3.5 inches right onto the duct tape. Going all the way across, making sure it's, when I'm marking this, I'm as perpendicular as possible. This is pretty similar to what I was doing with the godettes to make the half circle. I measured out 28.5 inches along using my longer measuring tape. And almost done. There we have 3.5 inches. Let's just cut that out. Then connect the dots. There we go. We have the front of the belt. And now let's do the back of the belt. So, this is where I wanted the top of the back of the belt to be. Was right here. Let's move that into view. I wanted the top of the back of the belt to be, try saying that as fast as I said that, oh my goodness. Right here, which is a little bit higher up. Let's kind of make that a little bit nicer of a line. And I'm actually going to grab this because this lines up with the bottom of this here. And I'll be able to show where I cut this line here. That's where I cut this side. So I just matched up the top and the bottom of what I just cut and put a mark over here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Match this up. I actually need to match up the top, but the bottom is good too. And there's the top. Set that over here, set this over here. And we're gonna kind of guesstimate a little bit. Okay, so I actually drew a little bit taller than that original line, but I can always make it smaller. That is always an option. Cut this out and see what side we like best. Saran wrap sticks to everything. I'm actually cutting out that top line that I just drew in. And I think I like this side better. I just like, it's a bit of a smoother transition than the other side. Although the other side is a higher transition. No, I think there's more curve around here, so I am going to cut out the curvier transition here. True that up. And then since I have excess here, there we go. Now we have symmetrical on both sides. And you can see how much more it curves in the back than in the front. Like, that's a completely different shape. So making just like a straight rectangle can work, and like I can make it fit on my body, but it's not quite. Do it again? I'm not saran wrapping myself again. But what I did is, just like what I'm showing now, how much different in shape these two belts are, because the way my body curves in the front is very different from how it curves in the back. Yeah, I'm glad you got to catch this too. This is a fun technique. Oh, this is that's the old one. You can still see the difference in the curve here. Because like, there's these wings up here. So, and I'll be able to put grommets into the belt as well for when I'm going to tie it shut. Or I might do an easier closure too. I haven't decided on the closure. Ease of getting into and out of this costume is priority. My watch is telling me to take a sip of water, so we're going to take another sip of water. Ooh, have fun getting the kiddos. I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon, and I hope it's nice weather there today. Not too hot. So I'm going to draw out 3.5 inches again. Put this where you can see it. I almost didn't leave myself enough room, but I did. Already measured the 3.5 inches there. Glad that matched. So now we're going to cut this out, and then we'll have a 3.5 inch belt, which is pretty nice. Let's get all of this excess out of the way. Oh, I have the wrong to-do list up on this page. Let's just turn it off. There we go. So now we have the front and the back of the belt. Make sure it's trued up on both sides. Yep. Looks like I did it right. I did it right on this side too. And let's pull out the fabric I want to make this out of. So I want to use this brocade for the belt. Oh, I almost flung those right off the table. I want to use this brocade for the belt because I really like how it feels. I like the weight, and I think it will sit nicely when I put it on. So let's find a spot that doesn't look too wrinkly and cut out the pattern. I think I'm going to give myself a 1/2 inch seam allowance, maybe a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Can I fit both of these on this piece? Sweet, I can. And it looks like I can use maybe this part of the fabric, so I'm not just cutting right out of the middle of the fabric and wasting good fabric. We don't want to do that. We don't waste good fabric. Let's put the longer one on bottom so I have room to do seam allowance. And then I think I am going to cut out like this so that I'm not holding fabric in place. This is something that I can cut with my fabric scissors, right? Let's try it with this one first. If it starts getting catchy, then yeah. This is fabric scissor safe. It's always that fear of like, oh my goodness, do not cut the cutting table fabric, which I have done. Ooh, good idea, I gave myself that seam allowance. I think the theme of this cosplay is that all of the fabric likes to fray except for the nylon. There we go. Got that out of the way. I'm going to give myself that seam allowance, and I wonder if backing it in this feels really nice, so like I bet this would feel really nice against my skin too. It's very thin, so I wonder if I would want 2 layers, just as kind of like an interfacing to help it keep shape. Yay, belt! Good! All the walking you did in California, you need a new belt? Excellent. And that's good that you were able to do all of that walking. That's really exciting. I just found my chalk. I found my chalk. And I set it in a place where I knew I would find it. And do you know what I cannot find? Oh, I found it! Chalk! I got my chalk. And let's put fabric weights on here. And yes, my fabric weights are actual rocks. Oh, you got insoles for your shoes. That's really awesome. I'm very, very glad that that helped. Being a little bit particular with how this is laying, because it doesn't want to lay quite as flat as I want it to lay. What does Do Feathers use for pattern weights? Metal, D&D dice, and rocks. I think that checks out for me as a person pretty well. Water. And I was going to use chalk. So let's measure out, I think let's just do the outline. Since it's in chalk, it's really easy for it to just be brushed off. There's that first one. Let's clean that up a little. But this needs to be stretched a little bit further. It'd be a little bit of a pain to get this one to do what it's supposed to do. So it just kind of wants to wrinkle on me. That's better. Took me a full week to find this piece of chalk again, because it had rolled under my Cricut machine, which is right over here. So I must have set it down on the sidearm of my desk at some point, and it just rolled right under. Said, see ya, bye. Alright. Put my fabric weights away. I think just in case I'm going to add these little arms, just so that when I start working with it. Alright, we have a belt pattern. How about that? Yes. So what do I need to do now? I want to do the hem of this. And for that, I am going to want something a little bit smaller than, I guess I can keep using this. It makes it easy to see what I'm doing. Just a 1/2 inch. All the way around. Got that side. Now we'll do the top. The nice thing about this ruler is that since it's clear, I can see my marks underneath it, which makes it easier for me to measure more accurately. Especially on a curved edge like this one. Then I'm not guesstimating, I'm getting actual measurements. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Because I think one step at a time. We're gonna do one step at a time. We're gonna cut this out so that I have more space to work with the backside. Confused. Just going to get rid of some of that chalk line. And begin again. Didn't quite leave enough to avoid the selvage, but think it'll be at a spot where you can't see it, so it should be fine. Where does the time go? Oh, that's right, I started. I had to restart my stream at 20 minutes. So we'll go a little bit extra today. Whoa. Got stuff in my way. Sometimes this chalk just doesn't like to mark, and it's a little annoying. So I'm going to mark this quickly over here. And then I'll mark the top. Because there's like some sort of something on the outside of this chalk. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it can keep it from marking accurately. Residue was the word I was looking for. There was some sort of residue on this chalk, and I really don't know what it is. Okay, let's cut this out. Alright, and we have the back side all cut out with our seam allowance. Let's do the front side, and then I'm going to trace this pattern again onto this fabric here so that I can get like an interfacing to make it a little bit stiffer. Make it a comfy lining that will hold make the belt hold its shape. As much as I want to pin all of this together today, I really think I should overlock the edges on this belt. And an overlock is a stitch on my sewing machine because you can see how much it's going to want to fray. Here. We're going to focus. Good enough. 1 second. Do I have to sneeze? Nope. I do not have to sneeze. That's the worst. I cannot stand it when that happens. We got a belt pattern. It's really cute. Ooh, I like how that shines. Look how that catches the light. It's pretty. I'm going to set this here so that I don't lose those chalk marks, because those are important chalk marks. Not like I couldn't make them again, but I'd rather not have to make them again. I'll throw that over there. And now finding a spot that's not wrinkled on here is going to be a little bit more difficult. I don't know if I can iron this because, like, that looks like plastic. So I don't think I can iron this. But I definitely want 2 layers of it. And it's going to be underneath. So I suppose I don't have to be too worried about if it's wrinkly or not, since it won't be viewed. Let's see what the grain line is. I think we'll want this edge. Oh, there's a lot of this. Move that out of the way for a second. I think this should be good. I don't see why it wouldn't be. As far as like thickness for the backing of this belt, I can always add more if I need to. There's no reason I can't add more, or even like put an iron-on interfacing into it, but I think this should be good. And for this one, I am actually going to cut out the exact shape, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to, when I flip this edge over, I'm going to sew it around this so that it's encased in here, because I don't think these edges are going to fray, or at least they're not going to fray as badly. So when they go, they'll be encased in this hem here, which is why I wanted a bit of a bigger hem. So let's chalk this out. I'm going to need my tools here. And then this should also support any heavy objects that I decide to put on the belt. I set my chalk down. Where did I set my chalk down? Underneath the fabric. I found it. cool as the song is, I like to know what the words are. We're just going to go to a different one. This little bit of plastic is getting in my way. Chalk. I refound it. Pattern number 1 traced. And this pattern is a little more difficult to trace because it doesn't like to keep its shape as well, which is slightly annoying. Putting lots of pattern weights on it seems to help. Easy. Welcome to the stream. We covered ourselves in saran wrap and duct tape earlier to make these lovely patterns. And now we're cutting out fabric in the shape of the patterns we just made. Now I'm just outlining the front panel. And normally I would mark a little bit better which one's the front panel and which one's the back, but these have been pretty easy to keep apart. If I stop working on this belt for whatever reason, I will mark it then. Move my pattern weights. And get back to cutting. Yes, I don't want to use fabric scissors for this. Just because it's kind of plasticky on the inside, I don't really want to use my fabric scissors on that. I don't know if this is quite enough. I wonder if I should have cut out 4. I can always add more. Yeah, it feels pretty flimsy. This fabric feels so like firm when it's all folded up like that, but I think it's really quite thin. I mean, let's take a look at it. I mean, it's obviously thin because I can barely get it open. Yeah, it's thin. I wish I knew what it was. That's like the one thing with buying fabric online from secondhand sources is you don't always know what it is or what its purpose is if you're not as accomplished. If you are not an accomplished seamstress the way I am not an accomplished seamstress or trained in any way. I'm pretty much completely self-taught. But mysteries are how we learn, right? Eventually I'll see this type of fabric on the shelf and be like, hey, I've worked with that before. Ah, here's what it's actually called. Good to know. Other things we've learned the hard way include not using fabric scissors on sequins. That's a big one. That would be why I have 2 sets of fabric scissors and one is no longer for fabric. Oh, you know what? That makes it... This is a good feeling belt now. I kind of like that. I like the feel of that belt. It feels sturdy. It feels like, maybe it could use another layer. Because these are heavy. Oh, they're not that heavy. I'm not quite sure how I'm attaching them yet. I could lay it out and try it out and see how we're going to attach it. Why not? We're here right now, aren't we? Doing the thing. So we have the front of the belt and the back of the belt. Looks like 4 pretty easily fit across the back. I mean, we could put 5 on both sides. Because the thing I want to put in between them are fire energy. So there would be 4 fire energy between each of them. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I don't think it's quite evenly spaced, but I can fiddle with that. There's just got to be enough room for fire energy in here, which I think there's enough room for fire energy. I'm pretty excited to see this tape shape. Let's see. I have 3 types of fabric. I suppose I could do another layer of this, maybe underneath, just to thicken it up a little bit. Make it sturdier. So 2 of these together feels pretty sturdy. I'll experiment with that off stream a little bit, because the other thing I wanted to show you all was the armband design. Let's put these away. These have such a nice sound to them too, since they're glass beads. Move these so I don't lose my chalk marks. And let me pull up the little Cricut project that I did earlier. So this is going to be what goes on probably this hand because I'll want my watch accessible. So these are going to go up my arm. So I cut these out on the Cricut earlier and didn't pull them out. Because I was running a little behind. And I thought it might be fun to reveal the design on stream. So this, if you look at my design on the side, is hidden a little bit by the cape, but this is the armband on the front right arm of the design. And it is, let's put this here, Flamey Diamonds. Flamey diamonds that are going to go on my arm here. Like, oh, let's get my hair out of the way. They're going to go like that. So with this up here and this over my hand. Whoop! That Cricut mat is sticky, like it's supposed to be. So here's the top, or this is the bottom layer. Then we have the middle layer, which looks like it's going to come away a little bit cleaner on the mat than the other design did. The nice thing about doing this on the Cricut is I could cut out, depending on how I want to attach these together, I could cut out the pattern pieces on the Cricut. Come here. Does not want to come off the mat. Oh no! Don't get all curly on me. So that will go here. Oh. We'll have a layer here. We're going to put this out of the way, so that's going to get annoying. And then these are the SVG file for the Pokemon card Fire Energy. If I can get it out without ripping. And I haven't quite decided yet if I'm going to use vinyl or beads or black fabric for the top piece. I'm going to have to make that decision at some point. Did this not cut it properly? Weird. Oh, it did. It cut it properly. It was just hard to see. These like inner bits are so cute too. I feel like if I do them out of vinyl, I'll have to save those and use them for another part of the costume. So I want this kind of like fire energy motif to be throughout the cosplay, because this same shape is going to be sized up for my leg. The flames at the top are going to be a little bit different, but the rest will be the same. So I'm thinking that because the fabric I just worked with is pretty stiff, I might want to use that for the very back layer. Ooh, do I need to get my Cricut knife sharpened? 'Cause it is not liking this. So that's going to be the armband. And I'm thinking, this isn't, oh, it might be enough. I might be able to get just enough out of here to kind of get a feel for what it will look like. I also think this will cut really cleanly if I put this on the Cricut. So I could do the back layer out of this, and then maybe the middle layer out of this. But I could also do the middle layer out of the shiny side of the fabric that I used for the waist belt, and will be the waistband here too. But this would be the shiny side of it. And I kind of like the contrast of these two more than this. So I wonder, but I feel like these designs will cut out better on this. Like this will get a much cleaner cut than either of these two, because this has that plastic behind it. I could paint it. But I'll definitely have to cut out multiple so that it's stiff when it sits against my hand. I could also attach this to foam, because the foam would be rigid enough to hold it up and thin enough to be pretty comfortable. So then I could maybe encase the foam in this. That might look nice. There's not really much contrast here. The contrast here is much nicer. I could paint this though. I bet this would take paint pretty well. Let's try it. Do I have handy fabric paint? In a color that's fiery. That's yellow. Oh, here's orange. It's a nice bright orange. See if I have red. I have pink. But I don't seem to have red fabric paint. I have gold too. Gold might look cool. That's purple. I probably wouldn't want to use acrylics. I'd probably want to use fabric paint for this. I could always buy some. I think this contrast could be enough. But oh boy, do I like this better. I wonder, you know what I'll have to test? I'll have to see if this is like fusible interfacing of some sort. Let's test it now. Why not? why not test it now? We have all the pieces available to test it. Where's my iron? Here it is. And we're gonna grab the silicone mat too in case this goes poorly. All of the things that I don't want near that. Because if this is fusible of some sort, like if I can iron this onto this, I would be so much happier with that as the fire in the background. And then this is really soft against the skin, which would be nice to have. I have this here, silicone mat, just in case things get a little messy. Let's take a swatch off of this. A similar size swatch off of this. And just see if it attaches. I'm gonna make this a little smaller. Because if this is fusible, I could just fuse it to the back of the belt. And that would be kind of cool. Let's just see. I don't think I can... Oh, this silicone is not meant for high heat. My high heat silicone is over there. That's paint silicone. This is heat silicone. See if this works. Thanks for stopping by the stream, Dreadmancer. Enjoy your food. Let's see if this experiment works. I don't actually know if this is iron-on interfacing at all. It does not seem to be. Because this isn't like melting in any way. I could try it from this side. Just hold it there for a couple seconds. Nope. It is not iron-on interfacing. That would have been cool. Oh well. I'm glad we experimented. I'm glad we tried. So it is not iron-on. But that doesn't mean that I can't get something iron-on for this to do my idea. It is still a possibility. Unplug the iron. And that is set on the heat-safe mat there. All right. So, let's get back to our belt. That was a fun detour, and I'm glad we took it. We'll have to make some more decisions on this part of the costume. So I really like how the flamey thing looks. just going to need something to stick to. I mean, I have fabric glue too, so I could do fabric glue. That's an option. So I think I do want to double up both types of fabric. I think we're going to cut out an exact shape of the belt and an exact shape here. And I'm not going to attach them yet because I think I'm going to sew the embellishments into this fabric and then attach it all together with the embellishments sewn on with this fabric. So after we get this cut out of the fabric, I am going to place out where the embellishments are going to go. And I think after Stream I'm going to do a basting stitch around here so I know where the seam is and I won't lose it. But let's grab this fabric again. And just keep going down the same area where I was. I think we're actually going to do this backwards this time so that they can have wrong sides together. This is right side of fabric, this is wrong side. So the wrong side is the side that's not facing up. This is right side of the fabric. Let's put all of this here. My table's getting cluttered. Iron might still just be hot enough to get this little wrinkle out. Looks like it's just hot enough. That's handy. There. Good enough. It's not going to be visible. And I know where my chalk is this time. Go me. This is what I was looking for. Fabric weights. Rocks. This will be nice to have a standard belt pattern, just like on hand. Anytime I happen to need a belt pattern. Not actually as uncommon as you would think. Well, that's harder to see. Looks like it's pretty easy to see on camera though, so that's good. Hopefully it's really obvious when I go to cut it. Belt's gonna be thick. But it'll hold its shape really nicely. That's the front half. Ooh. I'm just writing front on it, so I am absolutely sure of what I'm doing. Slipping. Don't slip on me. We are going to go a little bit over time today because of the audio mishap from earlier. Just going to go an extra 15 to 20 minutes planning out the bead placement. There's chalk flying everywhere. Lost my pattern piece. There we go. That's a little bit easier. This a little bit better. There we go. Chalk right back. This is quite a bit harder to see on this side of the fabric, the chalk. Even though I use these fabrics for anything, these prior fabric scissors, they're no longer fabric scissors for like cutting anything now, I still get nervous when they go near paper. Unconscious reflex. It's like, no, not fabric scissors near paper. I don't want that. Okay. So let's put these both out. Move these a little bit farther off to the side. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to baste these two together, the top and this part, so that when I'm sewing on the embellishments, there's a little bit, it's just a little bit more sturdy. And then this will get added to the back. Of the whole panel. So it'll be 4 layers of fabric to make this belt nice and sturdy and feel like it's going to keep its shape on my body, which it is made to my body specifications, so it should keep its shape. So now we decided there would be 5 on each part of the belt. This is kind of giving it that more sorcery vibe, which is nice. Now, what else do I want to add to it? I think we're going to save the ribbon for other parts. I have these AB crystals. I have gold crystals. I have red shiny beads. I kind of want to save everything else for other parts of the costume. I have a lot of these though. Got some dangly beads. And I have some really red beads. Do have these yellow beads, that might be nice. Good variety of color. Alright, so we have a good variety of color here. We're just gonna try putting things places because there are gonna be fire energy here, and there's a part of me, ooh, there's a small part of me that wants to embroider, like bead that. I just don't know if I quite have the time for it. So it might have to be fire energy cards that I cut out. I think I have the Pokemon cards in here. These don't really stick out that much. They look very pretty, but I think these will be better on another part of the costume where they'll stick out more. I bet I'm going to want more opaque beads for this part, because something clear just is not going to stand out against all of the texture of this fabric, which is the benefit of this fabric, is that it's so textured. Having little strings of beads might be kind of nice. Let's see how much we got. This would go under the fire energy. That might be too much. I wonder if that's too much. Because the other thing I could do... Oh, and this might make some of what I want to do easier. I like the gold. I like the gold. We're going to hang on to the gold. Oh, don't you fall. Trying to get these back in the bag is not easy. Hello, how's it going? Glad to have you in chat. I'm doing pretty good today. I am working on a Flareon cosplay. And right now we're working on the belt. And I am trying to decide on a belt design. So one thing that I have for the belt is the ribbon that originally attached. Let me go to the other side. So this used to be a whole dress, and it used to attach with this ribbon that would tie it, because this was a wrap dress. This and this were all one piece originally. and it was held in place by this ribbon. It might be kind of cool to use that as a motif on the belt because I have a bunch of this ribbon. I have 2 that are this long. So that might be a pretty motif to bring that back. This would also allow me to sew the first 2 layers of this belt together, because this belt is 4 layers, and kind of hide that seam. But I think that looks really cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Where's the other one? Here it is. We're just pretending like the chalk line is the seam line for now. I really like that. I really like how that looks. So I think we're going to do that. That will make that look pretty neat. We'll have the fire energy between here. I just need to decide what other kinds of embellishments that I want on this. I really like the look of how the gold looks. Thank you. And then this matches the top of the skirt, the top and the skirt, and makes it look nice and cohesive. So I feel like these gold beads could be added somewhere. There's going to be, we'll just put these here to kind of show what that's going to be. Put one down here. These might be smaller. Do I have Pokemon cards in here? No, those might be out here. Nope, nothing easily accessible, so I won't worry about it. But those will be more like quarter sized than this big, although this looks pretty cool. I mean, it might be neat if I did do like a vinyl iron-on, if I put the gold beads in the middle here. That might look pretty cool. So I don't have a ton of these beads, so I have to be a little sparing with them. Let's see, what else might work for this? I have these really pretty beads that are, they kind of go between other beads, they're spacer beads. I mean, it'd be neat to have some beadwork like this along the edge. If I have enough of these. I could also just do them on one edge. And the nice thing about doing beads like this is you can hang other things off of them. I need something to hold this down. I have a lot of those. There we go. Let's space these out a little more. Make sure that I have enough for the back too. So what I'll probably do to attach this is string everything on fishing line and then sew the fishing line into the fabric. And then there's still a little bit extra. That looks neat. We have these AB crystals. Well, thanks for checking it out. I also post little update reels on Instagram and do weekly update posts on this on Instagram as well. So there are other places that you can catch the updates too. But I would love to see you back in chat. Thanks for stopping by today. Do I like that? I don't know if I like this. Because these really aren't as noticeable. They would add shine, and that would be pretty. They almost seem like they're too big. Are these ones smaller? Those ones look smaller. And adding shine certainly isn't a bad thing. Oh, there's different shapes in here. So there's some circle and some that have the beveled edges. Kind of see. I have one circle one here and one beveled edge one there. They don't show up much better against this, but they would add shine, and shine is good. I have these red beads. I have these AB red beads. AB just means that they color shift a little bit. I do have those. These being tube beads. Those add length. Because if I want to do these, there needs to be stoppers on either end so that the other beads don't go through the middle. But I am digging this so far. Kind of making it up as we go along. But I think it looks good. Drop the bead. I will want to find that bead. I need to remember to find that bead. Go back. Alright, so that, there is enough. For that idea. So what to put in the middle? I'm going to probably say mixing up some yellow, orange, and red beads. And there's already the gold, so I don't know if I necessarily need the yellow. I think these red beads, yeah, I think they're the same size as the orange. I think that would look pretty cool. I'm going to take a picture of this, and then we're probably going to call it here for today. Now that I've made a mess of this table with beads and all the things. So let's get a picture of this so that I remember what I've done. Or ideas. Okay. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for stopping by the stream and watching all of this unfold, the making of the belt. I think we got a really good start on the belt. We have all of the pieces that we need to put it together. And I'm hoping by next week I can have the belt pretty much finished. But I think this was a good start on it. So have a great weekend, and thanks for stopping by the stream. See you next time.